Well, joined now by meteorologist Robert Suhr as we take another gander at the weather.
Yes.
The 7-day looks pretty good, although there are some rain chances in there sprinkled about.
Yeah,
correct?
they're sprinkled in, salt and pepper kind of sprinkled in there, but no day is a washout.
But we're still in a drought technically,
We
too,
are
right?
still in a drought, which I'll show you that drought monitor here in just a second. First, we're going to take a look at the almanacs today in Fayetteville, and pretty quiet today. Look at that low in Fayetteville, down to 60. Pretty soon, those low temperatures will be into the 50s, and fall will be here. Meteorological fall starts a week from today. Yeah, September 1st is just 7 days away. That is hard to believe. Meanwhile, in Fort Smith, which is nice and quiet this evening, not a bad day, right around average, 92. You should be at 93. Thankfully, nowhere near that 104 back in 1963. Now, Brandon mentioned that drought. This is last week's drought monitor, and you can see still have extreme drought across portions of Carroll County. A moderate drought, Benton, Washington County, stretching into southern Sebastian County. Now, as I roll this forward, you're able to see a little bit of an improvement in here. That's about it. As I rock this back and forth from last week to this week, last week to this week, not a ton of improvement despite the fact that we had rain. What we really need and what we usually get is a decaying tropical system that covers the whole area in rain and just shuts off the drought. That has not happened the past several summers, and it doesn't look like it'll happen this summer as well, unfortunately. Right now for your area in northwest Arkansas, what's the cool spot? It looks like it's 73 and 69 right now in Winslow, 73 in Siloam Springs and Kingston. River Valley's a little bit warmer. Look at those 80s still around. Charleston, Boonville, Alma, Fort Smith still hanging on to the 80s. It's still warm despite those clear skies that we have across our area. Lots of cloud cover and rain down to our south, up across the Great Lakes and stretching into portions, sliding across the Great Lakes area right now into upstate New York. Now, as we go through the rest of the night, it will be nice and quiet. Cloud-free waking up tomorrow morning. Wrapping up your Friday, heading to school or work, no problems whatsoever. Some high clouds tomorrow, but we warm up into the 90s by the afternoon hours, and it'll stay that way. But with those clear skies, we'll cool off again heading into Saturday morning. We'll start the day probably right around 70 degrees. Lows tonight, mid-60s to around 70, northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Highs tomorrow back up into the 90s. But no problems if you're headed to high school football tomorrow. Lots of sunshine, but it'll be warm. Bring some water, wear some light colored clothing. It's always a hot couple of weeks for those high school kids until we get toward the second half of September. Then things start to cool off a little bit more. There's a look at the extended forecast for northwest Arkansas, and you can see those rain chances as we go through the next couple of days into next week. I think Friday's dry, Saturday's dry, and I think for the most part Sunday will be dry. Can't rule out an evening shower. Same thing for the River Valley. A mix of clouds, and watching for some more of those shower and storm chances as we get into next week, with temperatures actually dipping slightly below average. Stay with us after the break. Meredith will be here, and she will give you a comprehensive sports update.